Welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Let me quickly know if everyone can hear me, if I am live. I believe I should be live right now. And yes, I can see myself. I seem to be live. That is amazing. How's everybody doing? Everything all right? Everyone wonderful? Everyone great? Too sleepy. We'll watch tomorrow. Well, yeah, I'll keep talking anyways. So, hello everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, whatever you are, and whatever you people do where you are. Hope you're having a great time. I just wanted to schedule this live talk to talk a little bit about the debate that I had yesterday with Nadir Ahmed. Quite a few people were there to watch it live. Other people have watched it afterwards. I don't know how many people have seen it. Many people here probably have not seen it. It might have also been just, I don't know, boring to some people. I personally have never been into debates. I kind of feel bored when I watch people debate, and I'm like, stop wasting my time, man. But I thought at some point maybe I have to do these debates. I don't know. I think it went as expected. Let me know what you think about it. I think it went as expected. I honestly, in my naivety, I trusted that he would be honest, that he would, stand by what he promised and would be more respectful, because he knows very well. In fact, we had a discussion. We had a discussion prior to the debate. He knows very well that I don't really accept debate offers, especially if they come with insults. And I really don't care what people think about it. If you insult me and ask me for a debate, and I'll then you can go. Screw yourself, I won't debate you. So he approached me in a more peaceful way, said, hey, maybe we can have a friendship and let's have a debate and all. And I said, fine, okay, why not? So let's just have a debate. And that's what we agreed on, not to offend each other, not to attack each other, just to be friendly and just to exchange our ideas. And I really went there with in good faith, and started in quite a respectful way as far as I know and think. Tell me if you think anything else about my attitude during the debate. But I know from the very beginning, he just started to directly attack me personally and say, oh, you're not prepared at all. It looks like it's your first debate and you don't have any knowledge of Arabic and this and that, and try to call me dishonest and all that stuff. And then he started telling me stories about his wife and I kind of just dismissed that, hey, I don't really want to know about your whole household stories and what you and your wife tell each other. Let's just focus on the debate. And that kind of offended him. I don't know. It was all a giant mess the way it went. So let me know what you think of the debate. I want to address several points that came up during the debate in order to show not only how Nadir Ahmed attempting to debate me and attempting to prove the Quran right completely debunked the Quran himself, but also to show how indefensibly wrong and weak the Quran is in its narrative, in its message. So I will open a source. For those who have missed it, for those who have watched it, whoever, I started the debate by, I will come to questions, by the way, guys, everybody. I will definitely come to questions. I will, as always, give precedence to super chats and look at some questions that you have, because this is the point of making a live chat, because I want to interact with everybody. That's how it's fun. Let me share my screen here. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Well, what is this? Okay, here. So I started the whole debate off with this one hadith. see, the topic was the scientific mistakes of the Quran, and I was very well aware of that. But I said, let me start this with a hadith to show, to better understand the Quran. I explicitly said that, to better understand the Quran. And then I started mentioning this hadith, and this hadith, I think, is very crucial in proving how primitive Muhammad was and how primitive the Quran is. Let me read to you this hadith. This is from sunnah.com, a very reliable source for all the hadiths, especially the ones in the authentic books, such as Sahih Bukhari. Here, the sources below, as you can see. The English reference is 454, 421. And the hadith goes, narrated by Abu Dharr. The Prophet asked me at sunset, do you know where the sun goes at the time of sunset? Do you know where the sun goes at the time of sunset? I replied, Allah and his apostle know better. You should have never said that. He said, it goes, travels, till it prostrates itself underneath the throne of Allah and takes the permission to rise again, and it is permitted. And then a time will come when it will be about to prostrate itself, but the prostration under Allah's throne will not be accepted, and it will ask permission to go on its course to rise again from the east where it rises. But it will not be permitted, but it will be ordered to return whence it has come, and so it will rise in the west. And that is the interpretation of the statement of Allah, and the sun runs in its fixed course for a term decreed. And that is the decree of Allah, the exalted in might, the all-knowing. This hadith proves to us that Muslims believe in a myth that that at the end of time, before the world ends, before everything ends, the sun will one day rise in the west. So instead of rising in the east, because the Quran always describes it as rising in the east, the sun will suddenly come from the west. And then when the sun comes from the west, no repentance from humans will be accepted, because that will be the sign of the end. Everything is over now. The game is over, everybody. Prepare for the end. And then a series of events will happen, and after that, the world will come to an end, and then everyone will be raised for Judgment Day. So I started off with this hadith just to explain how Muhammad, the prophet who came with the Quran, and the Quran itself believe that the sun goes somewhere at sunset, comes from somewhere in the morning, and that the sun could suddenly change directions and change positions. So from this verse, it is already clear, from this hadith, it is already clear that there is something completely wrong with Muhammad's understanding of the universe and of our sun. Because as we meanwhile should know, we are in a solar system where the sun is always at the center of the solar system. It doesn't go anywhere, except that we all turn around the center of the galaxy, and that that goes for 230 million years. Other than that, we, the Earth, are rotating around the sun. The sun doesn't go anywhere. It's always there at the center of the solar system, fixed. And we merely spin around our own axis by which we observe day and night. And primitively, we look at the sky and say, well, the sun rises and the sun goes down. That's what we say. But so according to this knowledge, according to this truth, where exactly would the sun go at sunset? Where exactly does the sun come from? Where exactly is this Allah's throne? Where exactly does the sun go to prostrate itself under Allah's throne? Traditionalist Muslims believe that Allah's throne is above the universe or everywhere, whatever. But the hadith explicitly says that the sun goes somewhere and prostrates itself under the throne of Allah, and that it comes back in the morning. Notice it says it goes at sunset and comes back to rise again. The sun doesn't go anywhere. The sun never at any point during a day goes anywhere. There is no time where the sun is busy prostrating itself under the throne of Allah, because the earth is round. And we are at every moment in time, at every moment during a day, the sun can be observed from some point on our planet. So there is really no time where the sun disappears. I started it off with this. And of course, Nadir Ahmed was so offended by the fact that I started with a hadith that he said, I don't know why we're talking about hadith now. And I said, well, because hadith explain the Quran. This is very well known in Islamic theology. This makes clear that there is a problem with the Quran, that the Quranic understanding of the earth and our planet is wrong. Yeah. But I should have known that I was not dealing with someone who was honestly interested in exchanging ideas and in exchanging proper honesty, which is why after we came to this Quran verse, I think this was the highlight of the night. Let's see, you can see that on the screen. Yes, this is Quran chapter 36, verse 38. I gave this verse as an example to Nadir Ahmed. I said, look, according to chapter 36, verse 38. Let me remove this here. Okay, now you can see it better. It clearly says that the sun runs towards its stopping point during the day. Look, the Quran verse clearly says the sun runs towards its stopping point. Those who were there have witnessed it. This was the highlight of the night. I said, according to Sahih International, which is currently the most circulated Quran translation, the sun runs on course towards its stopping point. According to Picthall, which is one of the most respected and one of the most linguistically accurate Quran translations into English, it says, and the sun runneth on unto a resting place for him, for the sun. The sun has a resting place and a stopping point. According to Arbery, which is known to be exactly linguistically accurate without necessarily respecting the context as much as the others, it says, and the sun, it runs to a fixed resting place. This is a word-for-word translation. Then we have other translations such as Yusuf Ali, and Yusuf Ali is known to translate the meaning, the perceived meaning, rather than the direct translation of the Quran verse. It says, and the sun runs his course for a period determined for him. For a period determined for him. Yusuf Ali tries to save the Quran and tries to translate the meaning as Muslims would like to understand it, and yet he is not able to save it because we see that the sun runs for a period of time, according to his translation of the Quran verse. So in any case, the sun runs toward a place, toward a stopping point, toward a resting place. Nadir Ahmed said, well, how is this a scientific mistake? And I was like, how is this not a scientific mistake? What are you talking about? And he said, he tried to make a comparison. He said, look, at home we speak Arabic sometimes, I and my wife. And my wife uses the same word to me sometimes. Is the video quality bad? What is this? I see like, oh no, okay, it's fine. On my screen, everything was suddenly a little bit blurry. So Nadir Ahmed said the word used here for stopping point is mustaqar, and we use that word at home. He had some obsession with telling me that his wife likes to tell him that he's unstable in his career. I don't know why he kept telling me that. He seems to have certain, I don't know. He said the word used here is mustaqar, and mustaqar means unstable. It means it's not stable enough. So when the Quran says stopping point in this Quran verse, it says mustaqar, which means not stable. And I thought, wait, that's exactly what I'm saying, because if that means not stable, if that means a place that is not stable, then what exactly does the Quran say? And then he refused to read the Quran verse. The audience and me, we all asked him repeatedly to tell us what this Quran verse exactly says, according to him, according to his translation of the Quran verse. And he refused. He refused to read the Quran verse. What happened in reality is that he debunked the Quran. Nadir Ahmed debunked the Quran here. He said, and the sun runs until it is unstable, until it is stable, or something like that. So he basically proved my point. He proved that the Quran says that the sun becomes stable at some point, the sun becomes static at some point, that the sun runs and becomes static. This was such a big blunder on his side that he refused to comment on this further, and he started becoming offended by people asking him to clarify what this exactly means. Because as you can see, the Quran verse, it cannot be saved. The Quran verse clearly says that the sun runs toward a stopping point, and this is in complete accordance with the Hadith, which also tells us that during the day the sun runs until it arrives at a place where it prostrates itself under the throne of Allah. This is a completely scientifically illiterate, ludicrous Quran verse, which should end every discussion. It should prove to us that the author of the Quran was a primitive man from the 7th century who didn't have any understanding for how the objects around us work, for how the sun works, for what the earth looks like, for what anything looks like. This should have ended it all, but it didn't. We went on. We came to this was one of the funniest bits, in my opinion. We came to chapter 67, verse 5, in which I said that the Quran cannot understand that our sun is a star. It doesn't understand what stars are, which is why the Quran describes stars as little objects that are thrown at rebellious devils. And he came and started reading this Quran verse and said, well, the Quran verse here says stars, but what it literally says is lamps. It doesn't actually say stars. And he showed this. Look, the word actually stands for lamps. It doesn't say stars. So I said, wait. So the Quran verse says that there are lamps in the sky. Look, and we have certainly beautified the nearest heaven with lamps, and have made from them what is thrown at devils, and have prepared for them the punishment of the blaze. He said, where's the scientific mistake here? I said, are you blind? The Quran says that Allah has beautified the heaven, the nearest heaven, with lamps, and that those lamps are thrown at devils. Where exactly are those lamps? What are those lamps? Tell me, Nadir, where are those lamps? What are you talking about? The lamps, as described here, are stars, which is why every Quran translator ever has translated this as stars. And the Quran here clearly says that stars are objects in the heaven somewhere that are missiles thrown at rebellious devils. This is the most ridiculous, the most primitive, ludicrous thing that I've heard in a long time. That the Quran describes that these stars are used as missiles thrown at rebellious devils. Devils go up there. This is the picture of the Quran. Up there above us, there are several heavens, and above those heavens there is the heaven in which Allah is, in which Allah forms a high assembly with his angels, and where he talks about the problems of the universe and the people on the planet and all that stuff. And there are sneaky devils that want to go up there and want to listen to those to that assembly, but they're not allowed to listen to that assembly. But they go there anyways because they are devils and they are poor in nature, you know. And but when they try to go up there and when they try to sneak into the heaven and try to listen to Allah's secret high assembly, then Allah orders his angels to take the stars that are in the sky. You know, when you look up to the sky, you see. Let me get a picture of the sky. Stars. This is how stupid we are getting. Look at this picture. Here, random picture of the sky, of stars. Do you see this picture? What this is approximately, okay, this is magnified. This is approximately what you look when you look up to the sky. And when we look up to the sky, we see these stars here, and these stars are actually tiny objects that are thrown at those sneaky devils that want to go up there and want to steal information from the high assembly of Allah that Allah has with his angels. Those stupid, sneaky, mean devils, poor devils. They can't even do anything for the fact that they are evil, because that's their nature. It's not their fault that they are sneaky. That's in their nature. So they go up there with their sneaky nature and try to snatch secret information from Allah and his angels. And Allah's angels then take these little stars in the sky and throw them at those devils. That's what these stars are there for. This is what the Quran says. And this is what I read to Nadir Ahmed, and he was like, the Quran verse says lamps, not stars, so it's not a mistake. And not only that, he concluded that since the Quran verse says lamps and not stars, it cannot refer to stars. And when asked what it then refers to, since it says lamps, he said, well, we cannot know that. We can't know. That's because the Quran speaks of something that we cannot understand, and that is a miracle. It's a scientific miracle. If you cannot understand what the Quran says, then this means it's a miracle. He said the same thing about the sun going to a resting place. He said, we cannot understand that. I cannot try to read science into this verse. Because when the Quran says that the sun runs towards its resting place, what it actually means is that this is a miracle, because we cannot understand what it says. This is his definition of a scientific miracle. If we don't understand what the Quran says, then that means it's a miracle. It's a scientific miracle. If that was also his definition of a scientific mistake, by the way. He said he would only accept a scientific mistake as a scientific mistake if it is very clear that the Quran verse in question cannot be explained in any way at all. So if there is absolutely no explanation to it, no reasonable explanation, then it is a scientific mistake, and then he will accept that it's a scientific mistake. But one valid explanation to any Quranic verse is also that we simply cannot understand it, which means it's a scientific miracle. So in Nadir Ahmed's world, it is simply impossible that there will ever be a scientific mistake. And this is what I pointed out from the very beginning of our debate. Before we started our debate, I said that if I asked Nadir Ahmed whether he could ideologically, religiously accept that there is a mistake in the Quran, he would say no, because it is impossible. It is not part of his worldview. It is not part of his religion, of his ideology, to accept that there are scientific mistakes, because that would invalidate his faith, his belief in Islam. It is not acceptable. In his world, the Quran is perfect, but in his world, the Quran is also not allowed to have a mistake. It's not allowed to have a mistake. So I am the only one who is actually kind of liberal with the Quran, who actually allows the Quran to act as a book. He doesn't allow the Quran to act as a book. He says the Quran is not allowed to have mistakes. The Quran is only allowed to be perfect. And that is the entirety of what we have been talking about. He went on to insult me, to accuse me of all kinds of nonsense, to accuse me of being a dishonest individual, of being a bad person, of all the things. By the way, don't forget to like the stream, everybody. And I'll get to questions very soon. He kept insulting me. He said that I was dishonest. He kept telling me that I failed, and that I have failed tonight, and that the audience should just admit that I failed to raise a single objection to the Quran, that we will all fail, that David Wood has also failed, that Sam Shamoun has also failed, and all those people who are not there to defend themselves, and everyone failed, and everyone runs away from him, and all that stuff. It was extremely painful. In the end, let me see if there's anything that I missed. Oh, of course, he also dismissed numerous points that I raised, such as that the Quran clearly says that the moon is following the sun. He completely dismissed that point. He said he didn't understand it, but it was very clear. I don't buy that he didn't understand what I meant. It is mentioned several times in the Quran. He also he said that we cannot accept talking about Hadith, although he agreed that Hadiths are a fundamental part of the Quran, of Islamic teachings, of Islamic theology. when I mentioned that the Quran says that Allah brings the sun from the east, he completely dismissed that as well. And he said, I don't really care about the translations that you're reading. I only care about my translation, which is when I take an Arabic Quran verse and put it into Google Translate. That's literally what he did, by the way, if you missed it. He put a Quranic verse and put it into Google Translate and told me what the translation on Google Translate says, and said, look, this is what it says. But he didn't accept these prominent translations that were verified and authorized by the vast majority of the Islamic world. In the end, I believe that I don't believe that it was a giant waste of time, to be very honest. I believe it was a hopeless case, a hopeless in that that we cannot change Nadir Ahmed's mind, that we cannot change the minds of people who think like him. That is simply not possible. That is out of question. I believe that it was beneficial, however, in proving Islam wrong. Nadir Ahmed did Islam no favor at all. He helped us prove Islam wrong. He was involved in this in an absolutely ridiculous conversation about the Quran, and he again proved that there is simply no way to defend the Quran when it comes to its extraordinary scientific claims. He has proven himself wrong. He has proven Islam wrong. He has proven us right, and he has proven again that he is a very weird individual who simply avoids questions, who is easily offended, who wants to attack you rather than address the point. And while this was, I didn't want to go away off this debate and say this is a victory, but I would call it a victory now. I went in with good faith. I thought we would have an honest conversation about these issues, but apparently it is not possible to have honest conversations with Muslim apologists. I'm still waiting for the day that a Muslim apologist approaches me and actually has a good conversation with me, an honest conversation with me. Of course, he was also terribly condescending, as some in the live chat pointed out. For those who missed it, I'm talking about Nadir Ahmed, whom I had a debate with yesterday. For those who missed the debate, you can find the link to it in the description and in the pinned comment down there. It's worth seeing. Yeah. I think I should be from now on open to further debates. If people want to approach me in a reasonable way without insults, I would gladly discuss this topic further and see someone who is better than Nadir Ahmed in this regard. All right, I've talked so much right now. My mouth is dry. I want to go quickly into addressing questions. So if anyone wants to talk about, wants to ask questions, leave some comments on this whole mess or on anything else, I would love to talk to you and interact with you. By the way, I'm starting. I'm going to start having YouTube channel memberships. Oopsies. I'm going to start having YouTube channel memberships. And I made, wait, what is that? I had something prepared, some emojis prepared for my YouTube channel that I want to share with you because I think they're quite interesting. Oh yeah, here they are. Wait, let me share this quickly. Where am I going? What am I doing here? Okay, now I lost everything. Okay, here. Sorry, everybody. Again, here. These are my new emojis that I want to use for YouTube channel membership. I call these the Momojis. I had them done by someone who makes these professionally. So very soon I will have channel memberships active where people can join the channel membership and can converse with me on a weekly basis, can join the chat and use these Momojis. That will hopefully start at the beginning of next week, if not earlier or maybe later, I don't know, but hopefully at the beginning of next week. That should be a thing. And then I will have weekly live chats as well. Okay, I hope everyone appreciates the momojis. Okay, so Torab Khan made a comment and said, can you tell me something about Petra? I think that's very important about Islamic history, but no one speaks about it here. I would say I don't really find the suggestion that that Petra was actually Mecca. I don't find it very convincing. This is a theory that Dan Gibson and others have brought up about a theory that the Mecca that we know from the Quran and from Islamic history was actually the city of Petra, and that is actually where Islam started and where Muhammad lived. And this would, in a way, disprove is the Islamic history and the Islam's authenticity. But I'm not really convinced by that at all. And I thought of going into that and talking about why I'm not convinced by that before. I just kind of think it's a very long issue, and I don't know if I really want to talk about something like that, because it is more an internal issue in trying to prove Islam wrong, and just something with which I don't agree. It's not necessarily my job, which I think more often is just to counter Islam and to counter Islamic claims. But thank you for the question. I might bring this up in the future sometime. Kaiser Soze said, you nailed the debate, AP. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was my first debate, by the way. It was the first time that I ever had a debate with someone. And although I expected a better exchange, I thought it would be better for me to have a more civil, to have a better exchange. I would have appreciated that more. But I'm glad that it went this way, because I felt quite confident about how it went. Thank you. Mayank Shaparwal said, don't you get afraid regarding the safety of your family? By the way, great work. Thank you. I don't, actually. I don't think that there is a possibility that I or my family will be harmed by what I'm doing. I honestly don't have that fear. I had that fear at the beginning sometimes, because I used to get a lot of death threats. I still get a lot of death threats, but I don't really take them seriously anymore. I work with the FBI. I have means to defend myself here in America, so I don't think there's any reason to be afraid. I also don't think that the regular Muslim would be crazy enough to come out here and try something stupid. But thank you. Habibi said, Apostate Prophet, why did you cut your beard? I don't know. Just because I got sick of it, I guess. I don't know. I used to love having a beard because I thought it was just more, I don't know, it was I felt safer with a beard. Without a beard, I look like a baby, I think, sometimes. But I like looking like a baby sometimes. I don't know. Okay. Oh, there is a super chat. Make super chats, everybody. Save my channel. I don't have give me super chats, please. I'm doing this as a full-time job, so I'm really I don't get any income from my YouTube videos, or from most of my YouTube videos. Most of my YouTube videos are demonetized. This is really sick. I looked at some atheist YouTube channels in the morning, and nothing against them. I like the work that they do. Atheist YouTube channels that talk about Christianity. They get their YouTube play buttons at 100,000 subscribers. They get links to selling their merchandise and all that stuff. They get all the perks that come with having a YouTube channel. They get everything. But if you are an ex-Muslim and you talk about Islam, you don't get anything. Your videos are not monetized. You can't sell merch. You don't get a play button. Nothing at all. So really, if you want to support the channel, please consider supporting this channel on Patreon. The link is below in the description, or to make super chats. I will always prefer questions with super chats. I will always respond to them first, just as a form of appreciation. But thank you so much. Anyways, Paga, why did I turn this off? Made a super chat and said, AP, Abrahamic faiths are all about blind faith. Sanatan Dharma, Buddhism, Hinduism encourages critical thinking. Perfect for a critical thinker like you. I disagree. I do certainly agree that in Abrahamic religion there is a limit in intellectual thought. which is one reason why I would not want to believe in religion, with all due respect to religious people and to religion. As some people know, I am an atheist who also doesn't hate religion, because I empathize with religion, and I understand where it comes from in history. But I don't necessarily think, from all I've seen, that the Hinduistic way of thinking encourages critical thought. More, it rather encourages a specific way of thinking or a specific way of living, which could especially be said about Buddhism, which encourages the specific path that a person is to pursue, or should pursue, in order to find peace and find meaning and find the purpose in life. I don't think that this is the answer to life. I don't think this is the answer to what I am seeking in life. I will probably soon make a video on my stance on religion and the meaning of life and all that stuff. But thank you, Proud Paga, for your input. I respect your opinions. I even respect it when Muslims come here and tell me their opinions. Please do it. Please, Muslims, come here and tell me that your religion is very amazing, that I should be part of your religion, and that I should probably die if I don't. I don't know. Tulasi Arman Dash. Oh, okay. So you're responding to someone else. Okay. Tanya Van Kessel is here. Tanya, thank you for always being here. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The debate with Nadir can be viewed on Aaron Ross' YouTube channel. Yes. The link to that is below in the description and also in the pinned comments. If you missed the debate, you can always watch it there. Thank you. Saleh Panwar said, if it's not a scientific, then it's a scientific miracle. Nadir Ahmed. That's basically the summary of the debate. If it's not a scientific, if it cannot be explained in a scientifically appropriate way, then it's a scientific miracle. That's basically what he said. So the entire conversation was entirely meaningless, but I think there was good benefit in having this conversation. Piyush Kemka said, it takes a lot of courage in doing what you're doing, AP. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think I pay more attention to comments that contain AP or apostate prophet. This might be just some, I don't know, a mind thing that is going on. I don't do this on purpose. But thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all the chats, everybody. AP, will you do some episodes on Islamic history of India? Said by Divya Singh. Islamic history of India. I made a video before about the Islamic invasion of India. Some people might know that that video was very prominent among Indian subscribers and people from India in general. I later decided to delete that video because I thought that the comment section of that video became very very chaotic, and it just became it turned ugly in a way. So I didn't want to really do that anymore. And then I decided that I don't want to talk about the history of India or anything regarding India and Islam anymore. I might change my mind on that. I think I shouldn't stop talking about something just because people in the comment section, or just because the audience acts a different way. So I might come to that again in the future sometime. But currently, I don't want to talk very much about Islamic history, but I definitely have some plans regarding the Islamic conquest, regarding how different cultures around the world became Islamic. I think this is a series that would be very popular. This is something that I want to get into, like how the Arabs became Muslims, how the North Africans became Muslims, the Middle East, and all this stuff. How India became Muslims, how Southeast Asia became Muslims. I want to make a series in which I concentrate on different cultures, and there I would definitely come to India as well. J Sky said, AP, have you ever thought of starting a group organization to help young Muslims to leave Islam and its consequences? I have a plan that I want to give some time to, probably 2 years or so, I think. Meanwhile, I want to focus on different projects, different more creative projects that I have in mind, such as writing a book and doing what I'm doing right now. But after that, I want to dedicate some more time to actual activism, because I think I've kind of found my purpose here in talking about Islam on a YouTube channel, or in writing articles and speaking. I think this is something that I enjoy very much, that I can do very much. And once all of that is more settled, is more spread, I can maybe go into different branches like actual activism as well. Thank you, Jay Sky, for that. Mo Mori said, "Are you pro-Christian?" I wouldn't say I'm pro-Christian. I would just say that I sympathize with Christianity in a certain way. I made a video in which I explained why I don't criticize other religions besides Islam. You can always watch that, and yep. Let me see. What else? There are some super chats here that I would like to bring on the screen. Where's that? Come on, this is out of the screen now. Adventure Time said, make a comment on Ibn Abbas hadith about 360 angels carrying the sun in a chariot and returning it to 180 dark pools. Now the comment is gone. Are you kidding me? Wait. Make a comment on Ibn Abbas hadith about 360 angels carrying the sun and in a chariot and returning it to 160 dark pools. Seems like this is inspiration from the 60 base system from Babylon. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar entirely with the hadith, and I'm not sure about the authenticity of it. I have to look into it. But I'll take a note of this, and if I come up with something regarding that, I might talk about it. I wouldn't like to talk about something that I'm not fully knowledgeable of at all. Habibi said, Apostate Prophet, why don't you wear your Apostate Prophet t-shirts in your videos? You know, I actually have a... I said this to my wife recently. Thanks for the question. I kind of have a thing with, like, I have this way of thinking of, who am I to advertise my merchandise? You know, who am I to advertise what I'm selling? Who am I to advertise something that I've made? I kind of have this attitude sometimes, and which is why I don't want to put stuff too much on the screen. It took me quite a while to decide to put this on the screen, which is the mug that you can, by the way, get right down there in the description through the merch store. And it is very crucial that you have this cup to remember that you stay away from Islam. You cannot stay away from Islam if you don't have this cup. Anyways, I sometimes think I'm not in a position to advertise, but yeah, I should do that more. Maybe, I don't know. I also think the shirts are quite interesting. Maybe I'll do that more in the future. Thanks so much. Man, the chat is going very quickly here. It's only 700 people watching. I don't know why the chat is so rapid. Thanks everyone for being here, by the way. I really appreciate it. Shirley said, practice makes perfect, AP. Thank you, Shirley. I don't know what that is in reference to, but I think it should always be in reference to something good if it says that. But thank you. Asıl Yilmaz said, AP, that's a Turkish guy, by the way. Greetings. Merhabalar. AP, are you looking for another guest for a new episode of The Apostates? Yes. Actually, I had someone planned last week to record a new episode for The Apostates with, but then I got sick suddenly in the morning and had to cancel that. So I'll have to pick that up again and we'll have to record the episode. But hey, I'm always looking for guests as suggestions. If you want to suggest anyone to me, please go ahead and do so. Thank you, Asıl. Ture Heikenheimo said, AP, you're really brave for leaving Islam when you knew that you, thank you so much. When you knew that I know it would continue in a bad way. Thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate it. J.O. said, AP, what do you think most of all prevents Muslims to think, rationalize, and use logical arguments in their religion? It's a very complicated issue. I always say I should make a video about this, and then I don't do it. But I should talk about this. I think one of the one of the strongest things that prevent Muslims from asking questions and from thinking is the fact that from a very young age, they learn that there is one book, that this book is unquestionable, that it tells them the absolute truth, that every word of it comes directly from Allah, and that it cannot be questioned. No other religion has this. In Abrahamic religion, we have the books that tell us about God and tell us about the prophets and this and that, and they are kind of more a tradition that you read, and they are God's word in inspiration. For example, in Islam, it is God directly left you a book in the corner of your house. There is the book. God is right there in the corner of your house in this book and is talking to you, and nothing ever can be questioned. Everyone is terrified of that. Everyone is terrified of questioning it and of being killed or being an outcast or whatever. And Muslims grow up from a very young age with this. They grow up with the most ridiculous, the strongest traditions and indoctrinations, which prevents them from asking questions. I think that is, in summary, why Muslims have such a problem with questioning and with reasoning. And I would love to open up that much more. Taran Gupta made a super chat in Indian currency, and thank you so much. Islam is peace said atheism equals Stone Age equals barbarians. That is very funny to say, considering that there is one culture in this world that presents a lot of barbarian practices. Michael Gallimore said, AP, is it true that the Armenian genocide is not talked about in Turkey? Well, Turkish people mostly deny the Armenian genocide. They say it was not a genocide. It was just a fight, a battle in which a lot of Armenians were weaker and died. That's the Turkish perspective on it. So it's a very controversial, a very sensitive matter in Turkey. Seriously, if you want to go out there in Turkey and say, I believe the Armenian genocide happened, then you should really take care of yourself. Great said, AP, thanks for the live feed. Who do you have scheduled for the Apostate interviews? I have some people like Mohammed Hisham, who was on the Egyptian TV channel and who was kicked out from there because he said that he was an atheist. I have Sarah Hayder from Ex-Muslims of North America. I have Armin Navabi from Atheist Republic. I might go into some other ex-Muslim YouTubers. I think it's time to support other ex-Muslim YouTubers as well. It will come. I have a lot of people on there soon. Great. Thank you so much for the question. Lance Johnson made a super chat with no question attached, but thank you, Lance Johnson. I appreciate it very much. You can always attach questions to that. I always appreciate those questions, and I always respond to them if I catch them. If I missed some here, yeah, I missed the latest super chats, but I will find them in my control panel and not be able to put them on the screen, but I will respond to them. Well, Deep Thinker said, love from Somalia. Thank you. I usually get a lot of hate from Somalia, so. Mo Frickin' Foe said, did I miss a debate? If yes, who debated? I debated Nadir Ahmed. The link to the debate is below in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you for your question and your chat. Dewi Gamer said, hello, Apostate Prophet. Hello back. Thank you. Aussie Queen said, AP, there is no perfection in religion. Like man, it is flawed. I agree. I think I will debate my dear friend David Wood on this matter sometime. So people who enjoy, who follow both David Wood and me should watch out for that. I think it will be very nice. All right, let me see. I missed some super chats here, and they will be here in the control panel. I can't put them on the screen. I'm very sorry, guys, but I will respond to them. Jane Sobieski said, can you do some videos analyzing Canadian Islamophobia regulations known as M103? I have to look into that. I think it's quite a while since that has been out there, but I might actually look into that and talk. I would like to actually have someone else on here from Canada to talk about it with me, someone who actually understands the subject matter. But thank you for your super chat and for your question. There are lots of super chats from SS, PPS, and Indigo Prime and Taran Gupta that contain no question, no message, but thank you all so much for your super chats. Luke Favork said, well, it's true that any theistic argument is tautological in nature. God exists, ergo their godly nature prove they exist. Honest theists aren't afraid to recognize their faith solely relies on belief. You could say so. I listened to a debate between William Lane Craig and Sam Harris just this morning, and I found that I was so annoyed by both sides, to be very honest. I was very annoyed by how William Lane Craig makes assumptions about what is true if God is not true, and I was kind of annoyed by how Sam Harris explains his stance on how morality is based on science. But yeah, I'm saying this because this is completely related to the topic, to what you just said, and which I kind of feel like I want to talk about sometime. I don't know, sometimes I just want to create a separate channel in which I want to talk about religion, not just Islam. Indigo Prime made a super chat and said, keep up shining the spotlight on Nadir. The more debates he has, the dumber he makes himself look. And isn't the term scientific miracle an oxymoron? It is an oxymoron, which is an interesting objection. If it's scientific, then it's not a miracle. If it's a miracle, then it's not scientific. But yeah, I think I said enough about the debate with Nadir Ahmed. Mohammed Al-Habash said, AP, is broom merch coming? Keep up the good work. I might put some broom on my merch sometime. I don't know. Taran Gupta made a super chat and said, why do Muslims not say Merry Christmas? I think I'm going to make a video about Christmas, by the way, and why Muslims don't celebrate it. But thank you so much. I appreciate the super chats, the humor. I appreciate your comments. I think I should be gone soon. I didn't want this to be an hour-long live stream. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the debate and converse a little bit with all of you. Thanks everyone for being here. I don't want to get emotional and cry now, but thanks everyone for making this such a great experience, for making this possible, for making this this channel so lively, for just for everything, for the great time that we can have here together. And thanks for listening. Thanks for being so interested. Thanks for being so interesting, everybody. Thank you all so much. I'll answer a few more questions. I'll go into a few more chats, and otherwise after that I'll be gone. Jojo said, big nose, respond to me, say hi. I have a big nose, in case you didn't notice, which is weird. Some Muslims come and say, oh, look how he has a big nose. It's known that Middle Eastern people usually tend to have big noses, so I don't really understand what their point is, and I'm not, yeah, so I don't know. Abu Zingila said, are you or are you not a medical doctor? I am unfortunately not a medical doctor. Zakir Naik is a medical doctor. I have to get back to the medical doctor hype and video sometime. I made the meme. I put it out there. I put the medical doctor meme out there, and then other people took it and went with that and made comedy videos and sketches on it, and I never went back to it. But it's fine. At least I gave them something that I can also laugh about, that we all can laugh about. Red Dust 86 said, hi AP, why did you choose to live in America and not in Germany? How do you find the German approach to religion? Grüße aus Münster. Grüße zurück nach Münster. Dankeschön. Well, if you know my story, I was born in Germany. I had to move to Turkey with my parents, and by living in Turkey for quite a long time, I lost my my ability, my permission to live further in Germany again, which is why I had to apply for. Which is why the only chance to go back to Germany was to apply for through a proper immigration process. But immigrating to Germany is quite a hard thing, actually. It requires a lot of funds, or, which I find so ridiculous and so stupid, or you have to be an asylum seeker. Many asylum seekers who didn't even need asylum made it into Germany and then changed their status, while I, as someone who was born in Germany, couldn't go back to Germany after having lost my status. I even tried to converse with the German government to kind of get my status back, but it never really happened. But I also thought, do I really want to go back to Germany? I don't know, because I kind of have this thing, this melancholic, this emotional bond with Germany that I always miss. This is always my homeland, where I was born, where I learned to live, where I learned to think, where I learned how the world works, the place that I love so much, that I still love so much. I still love Germany so much more than any place I've been. And I am in America, and I really love America. I really appreciate this country so much, and all the possibilities, the freedoms, and the kindness and everything that America has to offer. I've felt so much healthier, so much better after I came to America from Turkey. Everything is so beautiful here. But I didn't really know if I want to bust the thing, this dream, this nice image that I have of Germany, by going back to Germany and by living there again. I don't know. Maybe I will just always love Germany, always appreciate Germany, always tell Germans to appreciate Germany. But I think I will be an American for the rest, as it seems. I should get the American citizenship too soon, and then I don't know. I will definitely visit Germany several more times in the future. I always love your country. Greetings to your beautiful country. Greetings to you. Thank you. Don't make me emotional by talking about Germany. Christopher Löwe said, "Boom, broom squad." I will actually never talk about what the broom stands for, but everyone knows what it stands for. Thank you, Christopher Löwe. Okay. Indigo Prime said, "Has Nadir made a vast difference in your life?" Nadir Ahmed kept bringing up that that when the Quran says that semen comes from between the backbones and the ribs, it is actually accurate, because the vast deference and all that stuff. He put a picture up there. It is ridiculous. Go to the debate and look at it. I had to laugh at that point. I couldn't keep myself together. Davut Chokic said, "Will you ever come to the Balkans? By the way, you're awesome." Thank you so much, Chokic. Your comment is gone here. I cannot put it on the screen. I can just see it in my control panel. I actually have been to the Balkans quite a few times for business before. I don't know if I will ever be there for these reasons, for information and enlightenment reasons. I would love to. I visited Serbia twice. I loved Serbia. I visited Croatia once. I really loved Croatia too. I was in Macedonia. I was in Bulgaria, in Romania. I was in... Where was I? Anyways, I was in all those countries. Montenegro. I was in Montenegro. I didn't go to Bosnia ever. But yeah, nice places. Thank you so much. Luke Favark said, "Did you explore Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy, especially in contrast with apocalyptic religions, which he considers to have nihilistic components?" It's funny. I actually want to talk about Nietzsche sometime in the near future, because I want to go soon into what I think of life and meaning. Nietzsche is actually kind of... I've always liked philosophy, but I have always been kind of reluctant in reading from the big philosophers and reading about them. And Nietzsche has been one of the rare people whom I have always been interested in, and whom I've always I have read his works quite a lot. I find it quite delusional in some regards. But the thing is, I get a kick out of reading Nietzsche. I don't know why. It just gives me some weird pleasure. I think it's kind of the same thing that I get from watching A Clockwork Orange, or from I don't know. I get a kick out of some very absurd things that Nietzsche has thought throughout his life. But also a good kick out of very, very spectacular, amazing perspectives that he has on life and meaning, and on religion, on why religious thought came into existence, on morals and other issues, especially on whether morals are relevant or important or not. I would love to talk about that. Apocalyptic religions. I don't know if I paid attention to that as much. But yeah, Nietzsche was kind of the only person that I was interested in during my studies of philosophy. Anyways, thank you so much. I should be going. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for your contributions. Thank you so much for interacting, for being here, for making everything so amazing. Thank you for your attention. If you missed the debate, you can go down to the comment section, to the description. You can find the debate right there. And if you want to join me and have this amazing cup that I should, by the way, clean sometime. I don't actually drink from this. Then you should get this from down there in the description as well. You need this cup to stay away from Islam and to make others stay away from Islam as well. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic day, and stay away from Islam, everybody. Thanks.